What's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to a product review from Aegisbrand Studios. Today we are looking at a set of acrylic tokens for Star Wars Shatterpoint. These are from Buy the Same Token. They reached out to me. They asked if I would want to do a video review on this, use them in games. So if you've watched any of the Shatterpoint battle reports, you have already seen some of these tokens on here. But if you want to take a quick closer look, this is the video to watch. And remember, if you like anything you see here, there is a link in the description below that you can follow, and you can use the code AEGIS10, that's AEGIS 10, to save on your first purchase of these tokens. And they do have a greater supply than just the Star Wars Shatterpoint, so lots of really great stuff. But anyway, we are going to go take a look at those tokens. But before that, remember, if you want to support the channel, hit up patreon.com/Aegisbrand Studios. $1 a month keeps all the lights on, keeps these videos coming, and makes me happy, so thank you so much. Anyway, let's take a look at these tokens. So we have the selection of tokens right here. This is pretty much the full bundle. Now, just quick disclosure, from what I understand, there has been some redesign on the objective tokens here. So they might be a little bit different from based on what you're seeing in the video, but everything else remains the same. So the way we're going to go over this, we're going to talk about the stuff that I really like about it. Then we're going to talk about the stuff that I think it needs a little bit of work on. And just generally speaking, try to get a feel for, whether or not these tokens are for you. So right off the snap, let's talk about the quality of the tokens themselves. Each one is this nice acrylic material. It's a couple millimeters thick, not too thick, which is really nice. So they don't actually take up that much more vertical space than the cardboard tokens that you get with Shatterpoint itself. The other really nice thing is that every single token, aside from these little ones right here, are all double-sided. So they all roll with a double purpose here. So you got your force tokens that have your activated or your used and unused. You got your hunker tokens, which, okay, they're one-sided as well. All the condition tokens are all double-sided, so you have your expose and strains, you have your disarms and pins, and then all the damage tokens are actually double-sided, so 1s and 2s, 3s and 4s, and then 5s and 6s. So you got some really nice variety there. And of course, you got your wounded and your injured tokens on these ones. And on each and every single one of these, the design is actually just top-notch. I absolutely love the design on all of these. They take enough of the official Shatterpoint look to it, give it a little bit of a spin, sometimes with some details around the edge of it all, and they just kind of make it their own. So between the material quality of them, the design, I really like them. The other thing I really dig about them is all the colors are nice and vibrant. They show up quite nicely, quite well on camera, which I like. But even on the table, they are very quick and easily identifiable. So even at a quick glance, you're always aware of what it is you're looking at, which is really solid. And if you look at the comparison of the base to the token itself, you can see that's actually the same thickness as a character base, which is really nice. And if you have to sit them on top of it, there's a little bit of a rise that happens in it, but not a lot. So it's not a lot to really disrupt things here. So the tokens themselves, I think, offer a lot of really nice visual variety to the game itself, and they're going to be a lot more durable than the cardboard ones you have, which is really good. And you get a really good selection of all the tokens themselves. One thing, though, that has been brought up by members of the community and all that sort of stuff, and this is kind of a little bit of a sticking point for me as well. It's not enough for me to dislike the tokens. In fact, I still really rather like them. But the objective tokens. Now, the cool thing about these is that they have a hole slotted right in the middle of them. Well, actually, before we get to that, so you have your little priority ring that you can put on it so you can tell where the priority objective is. Really cool. Downside is if you happen to have a character standing right on it, it's getting that ring on there means you have to take the character off. It means you're potentially losing position, and you might have to figure out how to do that. One of the really cool things about it, though, is that with that little hole, depending on who's controlling it, you can actually slot one of those right in there. And so you have the blue holocrons and the Sith holocrons right there. And it looks visually really cool. But there is the problem that all of a sudden, you can't put somebody right on top of it if you're using those control icons. So visually, it's really neat. I think it's a great way of identifying who's controlling what objectives. From a gameplay perspective, however, unfortunately, it doesn't quite work. And it is probably the biggest sticking point regarding these. And again, visually, very cool. I love how it looks on the table and all this sort of stuff. It is a great, quick identifier for who's controlling what objective. Unfortunately, from a gameplay perspective, it doesn't quite work because of that. Now, I know very early on there was some confusion as to whether or not you could stand on objective tokens because they were considered objects and you can never overlap objects. That has long since been addressed and it's no longer the case. This is where they have gone and sort of redesigned some things. From what I understand, the new design forgoes the whole, and it's just you place something on it. Very typical. I mean, it's very similar to what we have now. The only difference is that these are obviously thicker than what we're getting with the cardboard tokens. So it is, again, it's really the only real downside I have to it. Now, for some people, and this one isn't me because I actually really like this. Some people would have preferred to have a much simpler, like 1, 3, and 5 method for their stamina tokens. I really like the double-sided nature of them. I think it extends a lot more use to them. You get a lot further with less tokens, which I really like. In fact, all of these fit into just a tiny little tackle box here, which I don't know where mine is at the moment. Oh, here we go. All of these actually fit into this little tackle box right there, our plano box, which is excellent, very easy to keep around, and it means that I always have all the tokens I need on it, in some cases more than I actually need as well, which is really great. And if you take a look at how they show up on the table as well, if you have your character down there, the yellow really stands up nicely. Like obviously there's a little bit of glare here because of the overhead lights, but you can toss on these tokens. They show up really nicely and just look really good. So they have some really nice contrasting looks to how we tend to paint a lot of terrain here. And in general, I just think it looks really good. So that is the general ideas. Like there's some really good pros. I mean, they're tokens. There's not a lot you can really say about tokens, and that goes for both good and bad. These tokens, they're very well designed. The colors really pop. I love the designs. All in all, like overall, these are a win for me. I like these tokens considerably. If I found them just wandering around on the internet looking for a set of tokens, these are very strong contention for ones that I would gladly pick up myself. They are UK based, so just keep that in mind if you are ordering them in from North America. There is some, there's going to be some shipping delays. You might get some shipping rate costs that you're not entirely comfortable with, but otherwise, I really like them. You can go check out Buy the Same Token. They have a couple different bundles. They got some bundles that just include the necessities, some that include the objective tokens themselves, and use the code Aegis10 if these tokens are ones that you like. Go check them out. Grab a set, Aegis10, save some on your first purchase right there, and share some pictures, throw them on social media, tag me. I'd love to see when people are using these sort of things, Instagram, Facebook, all that sort of stuff, and we'll see where it's going. And hopefully we see some more stuff coming out of them, maybe some movement widgets or stuff like that. But there we go. Buy the Same Token. Check them out. The link will be in the description below. Use Aegis10 to save on your first purchase. And of course, if you're looking to support the channel, patreon.com/AegisBrand Studios. See you next time, Wargamers.